On the 5th wedding anniversary, I actually received a message from my husband and his sister Liu Qingqing. I immediately called but heard Liu Qingqingjiao smile and said, "Brother, I'll just say that my sister-in-law will be fooled." I laughed angrily. "Liu Qingqing, do you think it's appropriate to make such a joke?" But as soon as he finished speaking, he was scolded by Liu Mingyuan. "How old are you to argue with a little girl? Shame on you, I won't go back today." Liu Mingyuan hung up the phone after saying that. Then I saw the 22-year-old girl in his mouth who posted Zhang Lu Mingyuan's diamond wedding ring in her circle of friends. Supporting text, "Sisters, it's a gift from the boss. It is said that it is worth more than 100,000 yuan. Please help me see if it's true." The hour hand crossed the 0 point. I didn't wait for Liu Mingyuan to come back at the table in the end. And the 5th wedding anniversary of Liu Mingyuan and I passed quietly. This is my last chance for myself and for him. Since he couldn't come back, there is no need for another anniversary. Looking at the cake made by myself on the table, I still didn't take a bite. I have a bad stomach, and the sweet and greasy cream will increase the burden on my stomach. Throw the leftovers and cakes into the trash can, stacked in layers, as if they were burying a dead heart. I began to pack up my things. Even if I wanted to divorce, I wanted to be decent. When I finished packing up the important documents, Liu Mingyuan finally came back. He was so drunk that he obviously drank a lot. When he entered the door, he fell on the sofa, and there were still red marks on his open chest. My heart is still throb, but it's more disgusting. He waved to me, and there were traces of the ring on the empty ring finger. Before I went there, he simply got up and walked towards me. But just after 2 steps, he suddenly lowered his head and held the trash can and began to vomit. The smell of alcohol and vomit made my stomach surge. When he finished vomiting, I subconsciously stepped back. He looked at me with aggrieved eyes. "It's uncomfortable. Help me take a shower." With that, he began to take off his clothes. The red marks are blatantly revealed on the collarbone, and the small tooth marks seem to declare that sovereignty is not mine. I suddenly felt that he was extremely disgusting. I didn't help him. I turned around and stayed in the guest bedroom all night. I have been insecure since I was a child. I always have nightmares when I sleep alone. Once, after Liu Mingyuan found out, he would come home to accompany me every night. But since Liu Qingqing appeared, Liu Mingyuan and I began to quarrel frequently, and every time he punished me by staying up all night. I sat on the bed alone and watched the moon set and the sun rise. Over time, I am no longer afraid of the night. I had no dream all night. As soon as I went out, I saw Liu Mingyuan looking at me with a displeased face. "Why are you still sleeping? Are all my clothes ready for today?" I yawned and ignored him. Liu Mingyuan couldn't stand it immediately. "Chen Wan, you know I'm going to the company in the morning, but you don't prepare clothes for me early, which will affect the morning meeting. What should I do?" I looked at his obvious appearance and felt ridiculous. In the past, even if I worked overtime until the early morning, I would prepare clothes for Liu Mingyuan for the next day in advance, but why am I always busy when I get up? I looked at him lightly. "Liu Mingyuan, let's divorce." 2. Liu Mingyuan was slightly stunned and looked at me impatiently. "Psycho, why do you smoke in the morning?" I pointed to his empty ring finger. "The wedding ring is gone. What's the need for this relationship to continue?" His expression stiffened, and he put down his hand with a guilty heart, and then he was even more annoyed and shouted at me. "It's morning. Why are you starting to make trouble again? Aren't you just angry that my ring is gone? The ring was just exported after playing adventure last night. It's not a valuable thing. Are you so scrupulous?" With that, he got up and went back to the room. "Isn't it a valuable thing? My heart hurts. When I got married to Liu Mingyuan, my career was just starting, and I didn't even have money to buy a ring. In order to buy this ring, I stayed up 2 nights and finally won a case. Accompanying customers with him, he drank until his stomach bleeds. Finally, I saved enough 180,000 yuan and bought this ring together. At that time, he cried and told me that he would do anything as long as he was with me. Now, 180,000 is nothing to us, even feelings. My head hurts for a while and even my stomach is rolling. I wanted to take some medicine, but the smell he vomited last night came from time to time. After all, I couldn't hold on to the room. Sitting on the ground, I covered my stomach and asked him, "Liu Mingyuan, can you take me to the hospital?" Liu Mingyuan finally realized that something was wrong with me. He changed into clothes and walked towards me, asking with concern like a husband, "What's wrong with you? I'm going to get the key and take you to the hospital." Liu Mingyuan went to the bedroom to get the car key, but he took it for a long time. Cold sweat kept coming out of my body, soaking my clothes. After he came out, but he took his mobile phone and didn't even look at me. Liu Qingqing had an accident at school. She is a little girl who doesn't know how to deal with it. I have to go there quickly. You must be too tired. Take a rest first. After saying that, he left me curled up on the ground. I shook my hands and tried to hold him, but the pain all over my body made me weak. And Liu Mingyuan went out in a hurry, took his clothes and left without looking back. Hearing the sound of the car starting the engine outside the door, I spit out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Fortunately, my aunt went to work at 10 o'clock and found me and called 180. When I woke up, I was already in the hospital. I turned on my mobile phone to see what time it was, but I saw that Liu Qingqing posted a dynamic. The cat started to skip eating in the morning, which scared me to tears for a long time. Fortunately, my brother came to pick me up and sent the cat to the pet hospital. I looked at it in a dastine, and my heart felt unspeakable. Finally, he breathed a sigh of relief. You guessed it a long time ago, didn't you? At this time, Zhou Yu, my best friend who is a doctor, came over with a black face. Why don't you cherish your body? How many times have you said that your body is your own and you can't finish your work? Are you going to die? Lu Mingyuan really didn't come to see you once, but if he looked at you more, you wouldn't go to the hospital. I pulled out a smile with difficulty. Zhou Yu is my best friend and a friend for many years. I also know that she is worried about my health. Don't worry, I won't do it in the future. I will definitely take good care of myself in the future. I patted his hand. Zhou Yu rolled her eyes and went to the next ward with a hum. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. When I got home, Lu Mingyuan was waiting for me in the living room. Delicious food was put on the table, and even candles were lit. Lu Mingyuan opened a bottle of red wine with a smile. You are discharged from the hospital today. I specially arranged it for you. Do you like it? You look much better now. Did the doctor also say that you were tired? Just say that you take more rest. Don't run to the hospital if you have nothing to do in the future, so as not to be infected with any germs. Come on, I didn't celebrate the 5th anniversary last time. I know you have a grudge in your heart. I'll make amends for you. I took a light look, and the table was either greasy or spicy. My stomach twitched. I didn't open my face. I felt uncomfortable even if I looked at it more. I'm not feeling well and can't drink. I ignored him and went straight to the bedroom. The wine bottle broke on the ground in an instant, and Lu Mingyuan was furious. Chun-Wan, don't show your face. I've coaxed you so patiently. Why are you shaking your face? Aren't you just gambling with Liu Qingqing? She is just my go-sister. How old are you to be angry with a little girl? And you don't know Liu Qingqing. Liu Qingqing's sister, she? Speaking of the sister named Liu Qingqing, Lu Mingyuan couldn't help but horse. 3. Liu Qingqing's sister Liu Wenxi and Lu Mingyuan are childhood sweethearts. Unfortunately, Liu Wenxi was killed by someone 5 years ago. Lu Mingyuan is not very clear about the specifics. Liu Qingqing also told Lu Mingyuan about love killing in person. It was also from the time when Liu Wenxi died that Lu Mingyuan knew that he had a younger sister. He cried when he saw Liu Qingqing talking about his sister. Lu Mingyuan promised Liu Qingqing, I will be your brother in the future. When I first saw Liu Qingqing, the adult girl held Lu Mingyuan's arm without measure, and I knew that this girl was extraordinary. But Lu Mingyuan was very used to her, gave her living expenses, took her out to play, and obeyed her. Their relationship is progressing very fast. But when Liu Qingqing blocked me behind Lu Mingyuan's back and was found out, I really felt that she was not a good person. I told Lu Mingyuan about this matter. Lu Mingyuan said, she just wants the smell of his brother's existence, and that's just a misoperation. What's the big deal? She is an insecure child. Can't you let her? That was the first time we quarreled. And it ended when Lu Mingyuan felt that I was unreasonable. Since then, because we have quarreled many times, he has asked me every time, do you want me to forget Liu Wenxi and be an ungrateful person? I just feel ridiculous. Obviously, he has long exceeded the boundaries of normal men and women, but he still pulls the dead man to find a grand reason for himself. I thought it would be good to leave the city when Liu Qingqing graduated. It was also this reason to support me from quarreling again and again. Now Liu Qingqing is about to graduate, but I can't wait. 4. Lu Mingyuan drank enough and handed me the wine glass directly. Chun-Wan, I told you to make amends. Drink this glass of wine, and we will talk about this matter. When she graduates, I won't take care of her like this, and you will be satisfied then. Can't we wait another month? No. My voice is very soft, and the discomfort in my stomach makes me have no unnecessary expressions. Lu Mingyuan suddenly became angry. He gritted his teeth and said, Chun-Wan, don't be shameless. You don't even see what you are. Under the steps for you, why are you still giving me this face? Let me tell you, if you don't agree today, you have to agree. Lu Mingyuan forced my mouth open and poured the wine into it. I'm a woman, how can I resist? After a large glass of red wine, my stomach twitched again, and my body suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Liu Qingqing is alone in this city. It's so pitiful. As her stepsister, what's wrong with me taking care of her? I don't have the right. Am I not qualified to make friends with others? We are just an ordinary brother and sister relationship, and we haven't done anything out of the ordinary. Your heart is really dirty to look at everything. The tingling in my stomach became stronger and stronger. I couldn't even hear what he was saying. I could only vaguely see his angry face and his mouth that kept opening and closing. Poof! Finally I couldn't stand it anymore. I spit out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Pretend to be. Lu Mingyuan continued to be aggressive. Spitting blood, don't you feel ashamed of pretending to die every day? I was in a trance, but I wanted to laugh a little. Laugh at myself, I'm so blind. The person in front of me, even if I vomit blood in front of him, I still feel that I am lying to him. Lu Mingyuan kicked me with his feet. Seeing that I really didn't respond, he was completely panicked. Hey, are you okay? You're not really going to do it, are you? I really want to talk to him about the divorce, but I don't have any strength. Reluctantly leaning against the wall, I slowly stood up. I struggled all the way to the guest room, and the moment I lay down I came to my senses. I wanted to rest alone, but Lu Mingyuan followed me abnormally. He brought a glass of warm water and gently wiped the corners of my mouth. I turned my head in disgust, but he continued. His patience is very similar to when I first met him. That was the first time I came to this city. He stood at the gate of the school and smiled at me. Hello, classmate. Are you also a freshman? The sun is shining and the young man is green. In this way we got to know each other. After the start of the school year, Lu Mingyuan began to pursue me fiercely. Because I had never been passionately in love, I soon fell into it. But when we were together, I happened to know that the reason why he chased me was the adventure before his friends. But I just got the trick. I'm afraid that he will suddenly leave me and pretend not to know about it. He doesn't love me much, but even a little I'm trying my best to catch it. In this way, after graduation he chose to open a law firm to help him. I raised my hand and gently stroked his cheek. Lu Mingyuan said with a smile, Honey, aren't you angry? He called me my wife gently, like a dream I had when I was terminally ill. Honey, Liu Qingqing has graduated. Can you let her go to your company? 5. The dream was broken and I also woke up. No. As soon as I finished my words, Lu Mingyuan immediately stood up from the bed and looked at me like an enemy. Chun Wan, can't you tolerate Liu Qingqing like this? Liu Qingqing wants to be a person like you so much, and she is also very capable. As her idol, her godsister, you have resources. Why can't you help her? I really misread you. Qingqing treats you as an idol, but you even eat her jealousy? People with hearts look dirty at everything. Now you really make me sick. He made a big fight with me regardless of my physical condition. It's just that he is exporting the whole process. I don't have the strength to quarrel with him, and I'm too lazy to quarrel with him. It took me several years of hard work to make the law firm at the top of the industry. Even the intern lawyers graduated from famous schools. Not to mention that Liu Qingqing's school is not qualified enough, and her resume is not even up to standard. During school, she had no other plans all day except to hang out with Lu Mingyuan. I didn't even pass the law exam when I graduated. Why should I let such a person enter the company? Lu Mingyuan scolded me while smashing the things at home. He took a pair of scissors and cut our wedding photos, and the glass was broken all over the floor. He looked at me like crazy. Chun Wan, are you satisfied? He didn't leave home until midnight. This time I didn't stop it. However, the next morning he called me first, but then he was scolded. Chun Wan, you are really bad to the bone. You never thought that when she's spirit in heaven would come to take revenge on you when he saw me and Qingqing being bullied like this. I smiled and said, Lu Mingyuan, what on earth did I do to make you hate me so much? I just divorced you and didn't let Liu Qingqing enter my company. Is it also wrong to stay away from you? Then you shouldn't let the whole legal community block him. Lu Mingyuan roared on the other side of the phone. She is just a little girl. As soon as she graduated from school, she actually met a shameless person like you. Lu Mingyuan, are you stupid? I can't stand him splashing dirty water on me again and again. Am I the god of calling for wind and rain in the legal world? Can I have such a great power? Lu Mingyuan didn't believe it. If it weren't for you, could Liu Qingqing's resume be returned by all companies? Chun Wan, you deserve that you didn't see your grandmother. It was a little guy like you who couldn't see your grandmother for the last time. All those who are good to you don't have a good end. I seemed to be hit in the head. My head was spinning, and my heart was even more painful. Lu Mingyuan, what a cruel person. My parents died unexpectedly at the age of 13, leaving a heavy legacy. It was Grandma who had been helping me, saying that this was left for me by my parents, and no one was allowed to move. But when I was in my senior year of high school and came home from school during the school holiday, my uncles gave me a small box, saying that it was my grandmother's ashes. They said for fear of affecting my study, but I haven't taken the college entrance examination yet, and they also took the opportunity to take all the money. This is the reason why I studied law later. My grandmother also got back the money that belonged to me. Only Lu Mingyuan knows about this matter. Once I regarded him as my lover and cut open my softest part to show him, but I never thought that he turned his head and stuck a knife in it. I rested at home for 2 more days and he didn't show up again. When I feel better, I will go back to the company. But when I first entered the company, the employees looked at me a little wrong. I called the supervisor into the office and asked him what had happened. The supervisor hesitated. Mr. Chan, we received a commission from a lady named Liu Qingqing. She wants to file a divorce case for your husband, Mr. Lu Mingyuan. 6. But don't worry, Mr. Chun, we have refused. The supervisor said it quickly. Don't say no. Pick it up. Why don't you make money if you have money? My expression is pale. And isn't it convenient for me to get a divorce if he comes to our office? I wanted to laugh a little. I really didn't expect that I could be so calm when things came to this point. The supervisor froze in place and I smiled gently. I tell everyone that there is no need to accept new commissions. When we finish dealing with the lawsuit, we will take a long vacation. Elted, recruit an assistant for me. You take care of it yourself. In the past, I only cared about making money and forgot about living. Chin. Mr. Chun. The supervisor looked like he was about to cry. You finally know that it's time to rest. So this commission? I turned on the computer and said, I personally connected with Liu Mingyuan. The supervisor nodded. After he went out, the whole company reveled in an instant. I looked at the people in the hall. Each of them was a living being oppressed by work. I should have my own life and so did they. Can you accept that your husband and sister open a room? 39103 inch. When preparing the divorce agreement, I didn't have any emotions, as if I was dealing with the most ordinary work. I sent it to Liu Mingyuan, but found that I was still on his blacklist. I had to ask the supervisor to send it to Liu Qingqing. After only 3 minutes, I received a call from Liu Mingyuan. He said aggressively, Chin Wan, what on earth are you doing? Are you going to divorce me for such a small thing? I sneered. Didn't you ask Liu Qingqing to find my company and ask her to help you with a divorce? I'm just handing over to you as one of the parties. Well, that's just a big adventure. I didn't expect Liu Qingqing to really do it. Can you still take children's tricks seriously? It's another great adventure. I sneered, Liu Mingyuan, I'm serious. Liu Qingqing has entrusted my supervisor, and I have signed the proposed divorce agreement. I have sent you the document. If you have no doubts, let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to change the certificate tomorrow. Chen Wan, are you serious? Of course, marriage and divorce are not child's play for me. I never play adventure or joke, but unfortunately he likes it very much. Whether it's marriage or love, it has become a game for him. 7. Liu Mingyuan didn't expect that I really wanted a divorce. He roared and didn't agree and hung up the phone. Half an hour later, he appeared in my company. We have known each other for so long, and he has never been worried about me. When he got divorced, why is he pretending to be affectionate? Chun Wan, I won't divorce you. We have been married for so many years, and it's not the first time we've quarreled. Are you going to divorce for such a small thing? What's wrong with me? Are you going to do such an ugly thing for me? I can see clearly that Liu Mingyuan doesn't really want to save me, but he just feels that the divorce is damaging his face. He was visibly panicked and suddenly flashed. Chun Wan, shall we have a baby? I was stunned. Bear after marriage, he has been refusing to have children. The reason is very simple. He feels that our career is still on the rise, and the economy is not abundant enough. Having children is also to make children suffer in this world. Over the years, I have stabilized my career and earned more money as soon as possible, just to live a stable life with him and have my own children. But now he said that he was going to have a child at this time. Unfortunately, I don't want it anymore and I don't want to have a family with him. I was expressionless and handed the agreement to him. No, please take a look at the divorce agreement. If there is no problem, sign it. Liu Mingyuan looked at me with red eyes and 2 lines of tears fell. Chen Wan, do you really want to be so cruel? If you leave me, who will want you? 5 years. I have a 5-year marital relationship with you. If you don't want it, don't you? Am I cruel? I couldn't help laughing out loud. I stayed up until dawn because of fear, but he opened a room with Liu Qingqing in the middle of the night. I worked overtime to make my child a stable life, but he and Liu Qingqing went out to play in the mountains and water. Who on earth is cruel? In the past 5 years, I have been in a dead heart for a long time, and I don't bother to argue with him about these things. As long as he can divorce, I don't care what he says. Liu Mingyuan, I will leave this matter to the supervisor to deal with. Don't come here again. Have you thought about it? Liu Mingyuan looked at me and gritted his teeth and said, well, don't regret it. He slammed the door of my office and strode away. I looked at him and didn't care about him. Obviously, I don't love you. Why do you pretend to be affectionate? I didn't know him from the beginning to the end. Fortunately, I didn't have to worry about guessing his preferences in the future. Liu Mingyuan went home, and the messages sent to me for several days in a row were all at our home. Unexpectedly, he began to clean up, decorate the living room, and even fix our wedding photos. Because he is at home, I have been living in the company because I feel sick when I see him more often. But Liu Mingyuan persistently sent me messages and called me, as if he suddenly realized his love for me. He came to see me with an umbrella and a strawberry cake on a rainy day. I didn't even look at it and threw it directly into the trash can. Liu Mingyuan pointed at me in disbelief, as if I had done something I couldn't understand. Chunwan, what are you still making trouble with? It's been so long. Isn't it enough for you to calm down? It's obviously such a big person. Is it interesting to make such a fuss? He is so high that he can't accept my ungratefulness at all. I thought that if I gave a piece of candy, I could forget the pain of the past 5 years. I thought I could turn back like when I was chasing me before. But I'm indifferent. When I love him, he frowns slightly and I feel that the sky is going to collapse. He will repeatedly speculate that he is unwilling to marry me. Now, his emotions are vented on me, but I have no reaction. Looking at his behavior, there was no wave in his heart. The last words he sent to me at night were, Chunwan, I agree to divorce. Don't regret it. I won't regret it. As long as I get divorced, I don't have to be caught between him and Liu Qingqing anymore. And Liu Qingqing, an outsider, is more anxious than me about my divorce from Liu Mingyuan. She ran to my company in the early morning and started to shout as soon as she entered the door. Why is Chunwan this bitch so cheap? Obviously my brother doesn't like you, but you have to pester my brother not to let go. I think you just like my brother's money, but his money is not what you bitch can think of. My employees couldn't sit still before I could speak. A dog from nowhere came in and shouted at their boss. Who can stand it? Miss, this is the office. Please leave. If you make trouble like this again, we can sue you. Sue me? Aren't you fucking bullying people? Liu Qingqing didn't care about it at all, and even became more arrogant. You! The old lawyer who was attacked was so angry that he couldn't speak, and the new graduate rushed up. We, Mr. Chun, have our own top law firm. I don't know how many times better than people like you. What qualifications do you have to be our boss? Ha, she is a hen who doesn't lay eggs. Otherwise, why would my brother divorce her? They haven't had a child in the past many years of marriage. What if it's not a hen who doesn't lay eggs? Hearing the movement outside, I heard this sentence as soon as I came out and couldn't help saying it coldly. If you are not a waste, then you can give birth to a child for Liu Mingyuan. What nonsense are you talking about? We are innocent. You are spreading rumors. Liu Qingqing thought that others didn't know their dirty things, and it was a waste of time for me to say one more word to him. It was better to use my saliva on the client's case. Call the security guard to take him away. Liu Qingqing was forcibly dragged out, probably to prove that he was not a waste. A month later, Liu Mingyuan told me that Liu Qingqing was pregnant, and the actual pregnancy time on the list is when we haven't had an awkward time. He and Liu Qingqing found me. They sat together like a close husband and wife, but what they said was not a thought. Liu Qingqing told me arrogantly, Sister, now that I have my brother's child, you should give way. Liu Mingyuan slapped him. What nonsense are you talking about? I knew that Liu Mingyuan wanted to plant this child for me. I drank warm water quietly and looked at Liu Qingqing. He pressed Liu Mingyuan's arm tightly and said, Brother, she won't give birth and you won't have a good life with her. I am the one who understands you best and loves you the most. Only when we are together will we be happy. Liu Mingyuan raised his hand high, but never put it down. He looked at Liu Qingqing with anger, and it was not until now that he saw Liu Qingqing's true face. I don't know how much trouble they will eventually make, and I'm not in the mood to watch them curse. I was about to leave when Liu Mingyuan suddenly came to hold my hand. Wife, I'm really wrong, my wife. I asked her to kill this child. Can we live a good life? He has the smell of Liu Qingqing's perfume, and I feel sick when I smell it. No. I calmly broke his hand and left without looking back. Liu Qingqing's scream came from behind me. 8. Liu Mingyuan left the child behind, and Liu Qingqing did not leave after all, and joined Liu Mingyuan's company. After many years of marriage, I have never received a penny from Liu Mingyuan's integrated company, and I can't be clean until I get divorced. I don't know what agreement Liu Qingqing and Liu Mingyuan made, but Liu Mingyuan finally agreed to sign the divorce agreement. I gave him the house. I don't want to survive in a place with traces of his life. After the divorce, I deleted all their contact information, and the company just started to have a holiday. 3 months later, my life tended to be stable. I thought that there was no I won't be able to live with him, but I didn't expect that I didn't miss him at all, and I wouldn't recall the painful past. The new assistant always said that I was not energetic and took me to many places. His name is Gunyan. He said that his mother liked to read novels and gave him a sad name, but he didn't like it. Gunyan forcibly brought me into the life of young people. He was enthusiastic and lively. Take me to the music festival, accompany me to the concert, in one warm cheer after another. I finally withdrew from life and lost my heavy mental pressure. Gunyan and I sat by the bridge. He asked me, Mr. Chun, you are so rich, why do you always work desperately? Even if you want to get married and raise children, 30 million is enough. Is 30 million enough? If it's enough, why doesn't Liu Mingyuan want to have a child with me? I laughed at myself. All this has passed. Gunyan looked at me in surprise. Boss, you are more or less Versailles. However, I still appreciate people like you, boss. After all, I also want to pay a lot for this cause. I looked at him with a smile. Aren't you afraid of losing your life? Gunyan proudly straightened his chest. I won't lose my life. Gunyan and I played for a whole month before returning to the company. After going back, I saw Liu Mingyuan's news, but the key point was not Liu Mingyuan but Liu Qingqing. 9. A month has passed. If Liu Mingyuan hadn't suddenly appeared in my life, I would have forgotten him. Someone suddenly came to Liu Qingqing's hometown to sue Liu Qingqing, saying that she refused to compensate for the medical damage. He happened to find our law firm. Only then did I know that Liu Qingqing's sister did not die in love at all. Instead, Liu Qingqing scratched a girl's face and seriously damaged her body. She was caught by the girl's family in the middle of the night and had to call the police. Liu Wenxi went to find her all night and had a car accident. Liu Wenxi died, and the perpetrator chose to be private and lost a lot of money. All parties of the Liu family fought just to prevent Liu Qingqing from going in. Finally, the two sides reached an agreement that the Liu family would compensate for the girl's treatment. Liu Wenxi's family originally favored the small one. On the day Liu Wenxi died, his mother cried with joy. I used to think I didn't have money to deal with this matter, but now I have money. As for the dead daughter, she will die. Who is still in the mood to take care of her? This incident is actually the reason why Liu Qingqing did not return to her hometown. She wanted to erase this stain from her life and get rid of it completely. Liu Qingqing successfully met Liu Mingyuan. Liu's family felt that they would definitely eat and drink spicy food with Liu Qingqing in the future. As a result, Liu Qingqing did not pick them up at all and did not give them money. Liu Qingqing's father fell and was injured on the construction site. The previous compensation from the construction site was spent, but the little girl still needed follow-up treatment expenses. They couldn't afford it, so they followed the vine and found Liu Qingqing. When Gunyan heard this, he took the initiative to ask for help indignation, saying that he would help the girl's family fight a lawsuit. Looking at his enthusiastic appearance, it is very similar to when I first entered the line. At that time, Liu Mingyuan always said that I was stupid. I just need to take money to do things. Why should I be in place everywhere? Liu Mingyuan doesn't know that there are few lawyers who don't have emotions at work. 10. Gunyan said that when he and the girl's family found Liu Qingqing, Liu Mingyuan stayed there. Liu Mingyuan slapped Liu Qingqing on the spot and said that he would kill him, but he was stopped by the people around him. Unfortunately, Liu Qingqing still fell down, resulting in a miscarriage. After the child was lost, Liu Qingqing was locked up in accordance with the law, and Liu Mingyuan's heart was like ashes and no longer cared about her. The Liu family wanted to threaten Liu Mingyuan to save Liu Qingqing, but Liu Mingyuan said directly that they did not get the certificate at all. As a result, Liu Mingyuan only loved himself. Liu Qingqing said that I had no ability, and so did she. Since Liu Qingqing is gone, Liu Mingyuan has appeared downstairs in my company every day. He asked me out for dinner, and when he saw me, he began to repent of his mistakes. We have been together for so long. Can't we go back to the past? I made a mistake in my mind. I'll give you the company, and I'll give you all the money. Come back, okay? He burst into tears, and I was indifferent as if I was looking at a stranger. But I won't stop for him anymore. In order not to let him pester me, I told him, instead of repenting to me, you'd better check your company's account. Gunyan told me that Liu Qingqing explained a lot of things, including during her tenure, she took a lot of money from the company, but the money was eventually used to buy luxury goods or maintenance. Liu Mingyuan was completely stunned. As soon as he checked, he found that the company suddenly faced a huge deficit. A month later, Liu Mingyuan's company went bankrupt. I heard that he held a knife and said that he would kill Liu Qingqing, but what was waiting for Liu Qingqing was the sanction of the law, and he had no right to do it. Liu Mingyuan was depressed, but Gunyan won the lawsuit. Our company went to the bar to celebrate him. I met Liu Mingyuan, who was drunk. 11. Liu Mingyuan was alone with a glass of wine, and looked at me with red eyes. He lost a lot of weight and came towards me like a corpse. I couldn't avoid him, but he knelt directly in front of me in the crowd and cried silently, "Chun Wan, just forgive me this time. I really know it's wrong. Let's have a child together. We have a lot of children. Just forgive me this time. I'm drunk and scared. Can you take me home?" Our home. The people around us pointed at us, nothing more than saying that I was ruthless. Gunyan came out of the box, walked to me, and stood between me and Liu Mingyuan. "Do you have any serious illness? She loved you so much at the beginning that she dragged her body down for you, and you pretended not to see it. You also have sex with your gone sister and have a child with your go sister. Now she's doing well by herself. You rat shit, you better get out of here. Only then do the people around know what happened. Isn't this marital infidelity? Eat in the bowl and look in the pot. Damn, isn't this a scumbag? If I were this man, I would have lost face to anyone long ago. This is a matter between our husband and wife. Why do you interfere with this outsider? Lu Mingyuan roared at Gunyan. Gunyan suddenly kissed me on the face. I like him. I like her and I understand her. She may not like me, but she won't like you either. I froze in place and didn't know how to face Gunyan's sudden words. But Lu Mingyuan panicked. He cried and walked to me. You said at the beginning that you would be with me for the rest of your life. I glanced at him. Yes, but it was you who kicked me away. At the beginning when I bought a diamond wedding ring, I said that if something happened, we could sell the ring to support ourselves for a while. That's the agreement made at the time of marriage, and it's also the last guarantee. Although it is not decent for us to separate, I didn't take back the ring, and I also fulfilled the final agreement. Now we don't owe each other. Lu Mingyuan suddenly felt weak and knelt on the ground. That ring was sold by Liu Qingqing at the beginning. 18. Out of the bar, I refused Gu Year's confession. I didn't have the courage to love someone anymore. He said he could wait for me, so he waited for me for 3 years. 3 years later, he became a famous lawyer in the legal profession, from my assistant to my partner. And I finally knew the feeling of being loved after dying once. On the day we got the certificate, I took Gunyan to buy a ring, and he chose a very worthless silver ring. He said, Chen Wan, everything that used to be is over. You don't have an ex-husband, and you don't have that painful past. As for me, I don't want any way out. You don't have to buy me any expensive rings. In the future, everything will be smooth. If you are unlucky, I will accompany your family. I was held in his arms and looked forward to the feeling of home again. When I got home and looked at the red home, I had a sense of happiness that I had never felt in my life. But Gunyan's expression was a little wrong. What's the matter? As soon as you get married, you start to be afraid. Why don't we buy a gold bracelet? It is said that the gold bracelet can relieve this fear. Gunyan kissed me gently. It's not fear. He handed me his mobile phone, which said that Lu Mingyuan had worked hard at home. Over the years, he has to repay the company's debts. It's normal to be like this. It's just that when he died, he was wearing a ring on his hand, which was the wedding ring we bought together. On the headline of his death, it was written that this diamond ring was worth 180,000 yuan. I put away my mobile phone and scratched Gunyan's nose. Who said everything was over? Gunyan smiled and said, I'm just a little uneasy. Why don't we buy gold bricks? Okay, one for each person.